Lights, action, camera. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have an old-time person that used to be here a lot. Let's give Handy a hand. Handy's back with me for today.
Great to be back.
He's back to teaching. Yeah, that's enough clapping. All right. Enough of the clapping.
Keep it coming.
Should be like. Anyway, just kidding. Anyway, Andy, as you well know, has been doing a lot of teaching in school, and so he's not able to do it online now. Are you doing it in person or what?
No, I'm doing online, all online.
Ah, okay,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
No, but he's been doing it. I guess you do it at home.
Yeah, because it's easy. Because my first class starts at 8.
Okay, so it's not like you go into a teaching mobile or something and start. Oh, okay.
No. I'm teaching all online now.
So how many kids you got in your class now?
My morning class, I have about 7 or 8, and then the evening class is almost 20 now.
Wait till you hear what I've got to talk about education here in California. Not just in California, all across the globe. But here, let me first of all just say Happy President's Day today. That's what today is. And today is the day that we celebrate this the amazing men who served as president of the United States.
Didn't it originally? I remember as a kid, it was Lincoln's birthday.
It was.
And then they just changed it.
Yeah.
I guess because they added some other holidays, so they merged it used to be Washington's birthday and Lincoln's birthday. Now they just call it President's Day.
Well, here's the thing. There are going to be few Americans, however, who will celebrate Joe Biden's time in office, and which has been
Biden doesn't count.
Anti-American and unmitigated disaster. And the economy is in shambles with historic inflation, record gas prices, soaring interest rates, and increasing debt for working Americans. And that's what we've got to celebrate here on this President's Day. And these are dark years for our country, but do not lose hope, because with faith, and remember, faith is the substance of things hoped for and evidence of the things not seen, Hebrews 11:1. So do not lose hope. With faith, perseverance, and hard work, we will get this nation from its current decline. And that is one statement that President Trump actually stated. And I agree with him. Don't lose hope. Keep your faith, and we will get this nation back. Andy, I got to share something with you, because a huge article came out on Zero Hedge, and I applaud them for this article. And it is talking about a fate worse than Ukraine, and it's all about the American public school system. Worse than Ukraine? That's pretty bad. And 8 years ago, there was a professor, John Schemeyer from Chicago, who presidentially predicted that the West Ukraine policy would get the country wrecked. That was 8 years ago. But even this professor probably couldn't have predicted that the West would find a new way to harm Ukrainians and exposing them to the American public school system. And on Sunday, the San Francisco Chronicle published an astonishing article about a Ukrainian teen's experience in a San Francisco public school. And that had prompted her to want to return to her war-torn country, that she fled the war in Ukraine, but failed to find a safe haven in a San Francisco middle school. And it's unbelievable what this teen experienced. And I want to share this with you. Everything Yana, a 13-year-old Ukrainian refugee, knew about public schools in the United States was that she had seen on television or in the movies often were idyllic settings where teenage conflict and angst ironed itself out by the end. And she never imagined herself in these American or in those American classrooms. And she says, I thought it was going to be better because it's San Francisco. And she said in Ukrainian with her aunt translating, but after 2 days, I saw everything going on at the school. Students interrupted classes. They jumped on desks. They cursed at teachers. And at first, Yana wondered what was going on, but then nothing happened. Students were not disciplined or prevented from repeating their bad behavior. And after 1 week, I understood that was normal, said Yana, whose last name the Chronicle agreed not to publish in accordance with the source policy. But for Yana, the situation only became worse as the weeks went on. Her fears escalating. She had escaped war, but not bullying and bad behavior by classmates. And her mother and her aunt, Maria Moraz, said that the teen could come home from school and she would describe the chaotic scenes that happened in her classroom. And what she told us, we were all terrified. She said of the verbal abuse, the hallway conflicts, and the classroom outbursts, adding they told Yana to avoid eye contact and try to avoid the students acting out. My God. And not long after that, Yana said she then became the target. Within a month at Marina, Yana said someone stole her cell phone in the cafeteria, and then a group of students who she believed was responsible threatened her life. And Yana knew enough English to understand that. And they started yelling and cursing and moving toward her. And her aunt said of the early February encounter, a counselor came in and had to intervene. And the next day, Yana stopped going to school. School officials offered her a security action plan to make sure that she felt safe. Wow. And Yana's aunt and mother have requested a transfer to another school where the teen could start over without fear for her safety or an escort through the halls. But so far, the district has denied that request and urged Yana to return with support services offered. So far, she hasn't been back, and Yana just wants to go back to her hometown in central Ukraine, back to the only school that she knew before the war, even as her mom and aunt have started to research camps and other programs in San Francisco to occupy the summer months. And you know, this isn't just happening here. This is also happening. There's a similar situation that's happening in the UK. I mean, from what I understand, in Boston, kids that are in like school don't even know how to read or write.
Yeah.
They're taking all this money. Go ahead. I know you.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was a major city. I think it was Chicago, but there wasn't one school, or Baltimore, I believe it was Baltimore. There wasn't one school that had children reading at grade level of all the 33 schools. That there was no their kids, nobody was reading at grade level in any of the schools. The performance is so low, and it's just been declining steadily over the years. The quality of education, the quality of the classroom experience, like you said, you see these things where where students are so disrespectful and they act out all the time. And how could anybody learn in that environment? Just
Andy, when I was growing up as a kid, we never jumped on. Oh my God, we would have got our asses beat.
Yeah.
Our butts would have been paddled with the paddle.
And now they don't. They stop punishing kids under this restorative justice, and they don't want to have too many minorities who are being sent to the principal's office who are suspended. So they just stopped suspending people.
I was just
That's
going to
not
say,
an answer.
I can remember when I got suspended from school a few times
I
as
did
a young
too.
kid.
I did too.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that, and now they don't even suspend them; they just let them continue
No,
to
yeah,
jump
they
on the
don't let
desks
them.
and
They
act
don't let
like a
them.
bunch of damn hoodlums.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Jeez,
Yeah, they just let it. They let that go
that's
on.
crazy.
It is totally. It's crazy, and it's all from this misguided kind of left wing perspective that any punishment is bad. And well, maybe if all the kids who are getting suspended are black, maybe there's a good reason for it. And you don't say, "Oh, let's not suspend them." We
Oh,
don't
it
want.
becomes a racist thing then.
It becomes a racist thing when
Yeah.
it's a behavior. It's not a racist thing. It's a behavior thing. And I've taught it
You've been teaching school for how long?
for a long time, over 20 years.
What's the youngest that you ever taught?
I taught high school.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you taught these type of kids that we're just talking about.
I was working mostly in an adult school setting, but I would have a program that was all high school students, and I was very, very strict with them.
Yeah.
And at my school, thank God we had a principal who didn't take crap from students. And a couple of times I had some conferences with parents because I was pretty strict, and the students would flat out lie about stuff I did. Flat out lie, complete nonsense, BS lie about things I did because I would catch them cheating all the time.
Oh, you mean they tried to blackmail? They tried to do things to you.
Well, I would catch them cheating.
What was some of the lies that they would say about you?
And they would say, well, this student would, on a very difficult test, they get 100%. When even my best students on that test would get,
and you knew that they cheated.
80%, and they had tested very low. It's just impossible for them to, and I knew they cheated.
Yeah.
And they started, and when you do that, what they start to do is say, well, you have a conference with them, and the parent said, I think it's just because I'm black. You're doing this only because I'm
they
black.
pulled a race card on you.
Yeah. And I'm like, and I got in a habit. If somebody would do that to me, I would get so right. You wouldn't believe how mad I could get. But I would get so mad, and I would say, I've been teaching in the inner city for 20 years. Okay, I've never had one complaint against me. You're lying. And I would say flat out, stop lying. Okay, you know it has nothing to do with this. And that's how I learned that you have to deal. You have to be super tough and strong.
Stern.
Yeah, you can't take it. You can't back down and try to be nice and all that crap.
Because they'll take advantage.
Yeah, they take advantage of that.
So I bet you're glad to be behind the screen and they're in front of their screen and.
I'm doing it.
But you're not dealing. You're dealing with adults, young adults, right?
Yeah, but now I'm doing a different class. They put me teaching English. I'm teaching English to foreign people.
Oh.
And something I did a long time.
Do you have Ukrainians? Any Ukrainians?
I do actually.
Oh, that's cool.
I have 3 Ukrainians, and they're really terrific. They're really great. They're a lot of fun. I have a couple Armenians and people from Brazil, all over people.
So you know the word obrigado.
But the Ukrainian people are great. They really they're very sweet. And
Biden just flew into Ukraine.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
He snuck up in there.
He went there 13 times in 1 year.
It's interesting. Yeah. When he was walking to meet Zelensky, the air sirens went off. The air plane, but nobody moved. Nobody did anything. It was like it was a show. It was all a show.
It's like the
showboat.
Potemkin. Remember the Potemkin village in Russia?
Yeah. Hey, I got some interesting news for everyone out there. Do you know that the IRS leaked thousands of Americans' tax filings and for giving few answers after thousands of taxpayers' files were leaked to an outside group? And this House and Ways Means Chairman, Representative Jason Smith of Republican of Missouri, sent a letter to Russell George, the Treasury Department's Inspector General for Tax Administration, raising concerns about the leak of confidential tax information and the lack of accountability over that leak. And the issue began when this news group, ProPublica, reported in June of 2021 that it has been given private tax returns for thousands of Americans spanning over 15 years. And thanks to the analysts of its unprecedented trove of IRS data, ProPublica is now revealing the 15 people who reported the most U.S. income on their taxes from 2013 to 2018, along with data for the rest of the top 400. And this analyst also shows how much they actually paid in federal income tax. And it demonstrates how the American tax system, which theoretically makes the highest earners pay the highest income tax rates, fails to do so for the people at the very top of the income pyramid. And the top 400 earners pay noticeably lower tax rates than the merely rich. And if you include payroll taxes, a married couple, say making $200,000 a year, could end up paying higher taxes rates than a person making $200 million a year. This is interesting. And the leak may have political motives, since it was used to prove, as ProPublica put it, that the very richest pay lower rates than the merely rich. And so who was responsible and who will be held accountable are now the lingering questions. And Representative Smith's letter came the same week that Biden's nominee to lead the tax collecting agency took a series of tough questions from the Senate Finance Committee as a part of its confirmation process. So again, coincidence, a coincidence. So in a different hearing, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen told the Senate Finance Committee in June 2021 that she would take a look into the leak. Well, Yellen also indicated that she would keep Congress updated on the matter. Yet 19 months after this outrageous leak, Congress and more importantly, the American people have no idea of how this betrayal of taxpayers confidentially happened or whether any other has been held accountable for this. And this is what Smith wrote in his letter. And Yellen said that the Treasury Inspector General for the Tax Administration would handle the matter, but so far, few answers have been actually released. So a detailed status of the review is necessary to ensure that TIGTA, T-I-G-T-A, is conducting a comprehensive investigation that will be completed in a timely manner, is what the letter said. So the leak of taxpayer information cannot be ignored, and TIGTA, as well as the IRS, can be confident that the Ways and Means Committee will work tirelessly to ensure accountability. Congress and the American people should not have to wait years to get answers. And meanwhile, the IRS is steeped in other issues. As the Center Square previously reported, the agency now faces major backlogs and serious scrutiny of how it will handle $80 billion that was handed down via the Inflation Reduction Act, and questions over millions of destroyed documents and even more. So there's a lot going on right now, even with the IRS. And this is why, Andy, it's so important to get prepared now. So when things like this does happen, I mean, think about it. There's so much. My information, I didn't find out until my bank told me that my information had been sold to the black web.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. So my Social Security number and all my information has been compromised. So now I have to put on my credit statements on all the credit bureaus, the 3 credit bureaus, that I have been, violated. And and in order for anybody to give out any credit or question any credit on my behalf or anything on my behalf, they have to contact me first. And there's a phone number in there.
Oh, wow.
But it's crazy. Wow. So you got to be so careful. That's why it's really, really important to get your house in order. And another one that I want to share with you, that's, I don't know if you heard this, but Biden's SEC, his administration, his SEC is coming for your investment accounts. It's a big article that came out. And against the backdrop of historically high level of retail investor participation in the stock market, Democratic regulators in Washington are doing what they do best when it comes to doing the free market and the consumer choice, getting in the way. And this time, they're coming for your brokerage account. And late last year, SEC Chair Gary Gensler rolled out a series and a set of far-reaching experimental reforms that, if it's finalized by the agency, would fundamentally change the way retail investors' stock trades are handled. And these include a set of prescriptive government mandates dictating where these trades would need to be executed and at what price. We're losing control of everything.
Yeah, that's shocking. The government wants to control everything you do. They want to control your finances. They want to control what you eat,
Kind of car you drive.
what kind of car you drive.
Hey, I got one for you. Oh, and by the way, Gensler claims, by the way, that
I think I know why the really wealthy people pay less tax than the just ordinary rich people.
Why is that?
They have better accountants. Maybe it just comes down to that.
There
right?
you go.
Maybe they're just better.
Or they know the deductions that you can take.
They have accountants that know how to strategize for them. And you have top account. It's like any other field. If you have the top people in the field, you're obviously going to get better service.
I paid $97,000 last year in taxes.
Wow.
$97,000.
Quite a bit.
I paid a lot.
You know what percent that was?
I won't talk about it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Anyway, let me tell you something.
I think you're in that category.
Let me just tell you
you're
something.
on that list.
Well, let me just tell you. Gensler claims that he needs to act quickly and act aggressively because there isn't enough competition to execute your stock trades, and that you may not be getting the best price possible. This is what Gensler says. And he says, and this is what I'm talking about. They're coming after everything. In fact, I don't know if you heard this, Andy, but you heard about the gas stoves, right? They want everything electric.
Yeah.
Well, now you ain't pushing. They're pushing for banning on gas-powered lawnmowers and chainsaws. So guess what? You got to go back to either that old one my grandma had, or which was just a push mower.
Well, yeah, push mower. Yeah.
I used to sweat my ass off on that thing. My grandma didn't have a little yard either.
Wow.
But she didn't like gas either, because back in those days they even had the electric ones. It was an old Black & Decker one.
Electric.
And you plug it in, but it only lasts for like a few seconds.
Yeah.
But then she had this one with these blades on it, and you had to push it through the grass. Man, that lemonade tastes good afterwards.
That's hard work. Yeah.
Well, my grandmother had me a glass of lemonade. I felt like her servant but I was her servant. I was my grandmother's servant. But anyway, that being said, Democrats now in Minnesota are now pushing for a ban on lawnmowers and chainsaws that run on gas in the name of fighting climate change. And, if you didn't think they were going to stop with the gas stoves, you had another thing coming.
Wow.
And these types of bans are going to continue and expand anywhere that the Democrats stay in charge. So there's two Minnesota Democrats that are proposing a pair of bills that would significantly impact the state's backyard and neighborhood ice rinks in an effort to combat climate change. So, if it happens in one state, it's going to happen in the next pretty soon. They're forcing. That's what I'm saying. They're the ones that are controlling everything. They're forcing us to go to whatever it is that they want us to go to.
Yeah, they're just using the climate change thing. It's just a pretense for them to take more and more power and to take more and more control. And it's just a convenient thing. Everything gets swept under the climate change rug. Oh, okay. We have to do this in the name of climate change. We have to do this in the name of climate change. And it's become this big, it's become the way that the government seizes power over the individual. Everything's in the name of climate change.
Right? I've got one for you. A lot of people don't know this, but do you know where the largest ammunition plant is located? Where's Biden from? Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Guess where the largest Army ammunition plant is based in? Scranton, Pennsylvania. And it's a United States Army Joint Munitions Command facility that manufactures, these projectiles. And it's interesting because that's Biden's yard. What's the odds of that? I'm just saying. And there's billions of dollars in contracts going, and that ammunition is not going to the United States. It's going back to Ukraine. And Ukraine, I tell you something, Andy. I don't see Romeo.
I saw him get up and walk away. I've never seen him do that.
I've never seen him do that before. Romeo! Eating. He must have heard food or something.
Something, yeah. I've never seen him get up, but he walked.
What are you doing? Yo, you getting treats. I never seen him get up and walk away. He did it quietly.
I know.
You're a little sneaky. A little sneak. Anyway, Andy, I think within 2 to 3 weeks, I'm just saying, I think we're going to be at war. United States.
Aren't we already at war?
Well, no, listen to this. So Poland is asking Biden, which I'm sure, because Biden gave away the farm, right? He'll give you anything. He just gave $500 more billion to Ukraine. He just pledged $500 billion and more ammunition, and a lot of it's in ammunition. Imagine that, Scranton, Pennsylvania. And then I'm just saying, and then Poland is asking for more boots on the ground. I'm just saying, it may not be in Ukraine, but it's in Poland, which is right across the border. I'm just saying.
Russia, yeah.
Just saying. No, it's right across. Poland is right across from Ukraine.
Yeah, but Poland's also.
Yeah,
Poland,
but they can literally walk to Ukraine, to Poland from Ukraine.
Yeah.
They've already done it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, now they want more boots on the ground in Poland from the United States is what I'm talking about.
We officially don't have boots on the ground, right?
Yeah, we have a military over there, but they're asking for it to be ramped up.
But they're just advisors. They're not combat, right?
Well, they asking for boots on the ground.
Like combat soldiers.
Yeah. Yeah. And then not only that, they're asking for fighter jets, which now Poland and other said, oh, we're willing to give the MiG jets, provided that the U.S. backs us up in the coalition with the jet, saying. So the United States tries to be sneaky, like Biden sneaking into Ukraine to give $500 billion away. 500 billion.
Million.
A million. 500 million.
I think the total.
Yeah, it was 500 million. Well, yeah, 500 million. 500 million away. And then not only that, he's over in Poland. He's traveling Europe right now. I don't know how he travels. Here, let me give you a shot, Biden.
Probably. I'm sure he has.
Anyway, that being said, I think we're like 2-3 weeks away from a war. And now China, I don't know if you knew this, but this morning North Korea shot out 2 ballistic missiles. And it's not what's his name from
Rocket Man?
The Rocket Man. It's not Rocket Man doing it, it's his sister.
How do they know
and
that?
Women have no fury.
How do they?
Because she publicized it. She literally came out and stated that if they didn't stop doing those exercises in the Asian Pacific, that there would be hell have no fury. There would be fury lashed on it. And she sent out 2 ballistic missiles. So I don't know. I don't know where Rocket Man is. He may not be feeling too rockety lately. He may be sick or something.
I know he was sick.
Something's not right because she's the one giving all the commands now. And this woman, she looks tough. She looks like she don't play around. But now, listen, China is now even saying that they could possibly back up Russia if Russia were to go into war. So I think we've got a World War III on our hands, whether we like it or not. I think that it's all coming down to the point where something's going to happen. So, prepare. Prepare yourself. That's why I put in the headline, prepare, because pretty soon it's going to be too late to prepare.
That's right. That's right.
Prices right now are around $1,850, $1,660 on gold. Silver's at around $21, $22. Let me tell you something. In the next 3 weeks, when war breaks out, when something like this breaks out, you're going to see metal prices shoot up to 2,500, if not more, per ounce. And don't be surprised if we end up going back to the gold standard because they can't get the number back to where they need to go, and inflation is just driving higher and higher. Don't be surprised to see gold prices shooting up to $30,000 an ounce, and I'm being serious on that. You know, the reason we do this is to show you that there is another way out. There is a way that you can go ahead and protect yourself, either with a retirement account or just take the cash that you have that you're able to use, you know, for an investment and put it in something that has intrinsic value, real value to it, not just a piece of paper that can just burn up and fly away at any time they want to kill the market. You want to say something?
Yeah, we know the dollar has been in decline for a long time. It's continuing that decline. We know the world's moving away from the dollar, and in some cases for good reason, because of the weaponization of the dollar, which we've talked about a lot.
Yeah.
But one thing that we know is that fiat currencies come and go. Fiat currencies have a limited lifespan, and whatever fiat currency has been the world reserve currency has had a limited time, and we're getting to that point with the dollar. So we need to go back to what's always been real money. What do people trade out of their fiat for when it's declining? They trade for gold and silver. That's always been money. It's always held its value. You go back in time, 50 years, we go back to 1971, gold was $35 an ounce. Now it is around 1900.
Yeah, and it will go up even higher in the next
And
couple
yeah,
of weeks.
this is potentially we.
That's
can
why
go
you
up.
want to do it now.
And with silver also, silver has a lot more room. Silver is very cheap right now. We know the price is artificially suppressed, but that can't go on forever. Silver, very few new silver mines are coming up online. There just aren't the demand. The supply is not there. There's very little supply, and we have increasing demand from every walk of life, from solar panels to electric cars to technological devices, smartphones and whatnot. Medical technology all uses silver. This is why silver and gold have been money. And right now, you need to start moving some of your fiat, which Robert Kiyosaki calls toilet paper,
Yeah.
right, and get the real money. Gold and silver, pass it on to your kids, to your grandkids. It'll always have value.
He's so right. And let me tell you something. Everything that we're facing right now, and I was going to get off, but I just want to share one last bit of news that the government is about to create huge, massive debt crisis. And no political entity can defy the laws of economics. Remember that. No political entity can defy the law of economics. And even the United States government, which many experts believe is exceptional, has limits to what it can do economically speaking. And since the creation of the income tax and Federal Reserve, the political class has taxed, spent, and printed money like no other to finance a vast array of government programs, all unconstitutional, by the way. These politicians, both on the right and the left, are putting a lot of money into their bank accounts. A lot of money in their bank accounts. So in short term, such political programs proved popular among the malleable masses as they would receive untold amounts of government goodies and other benefits. This is why this is all happening. Yet you suffer paying high prices for gasoline, high prices for groceries, high prices to travel anywhere, high prices to put on new clothes, your new shoes, anything that you may need for school or just to go to work or just to put on. The prices are all going crazy. And the general impression was that as long as printing presses run smoothly and the dollar maintained its status as the reserve currency, the U.S. government could spend to its heart's delight. In other words, a blank check, all without consequences. And for some time, the assumption held true. However, Andy, many things have changed over the past century. And the United States now has accumulated a national debt of over $31 trillion. And the trillions that are spent on welfare programs and never ending wars has created an epic physical crisis that future generations are going to have to pay for. And on top of that, the American economy has become increasingly overregulated thanks to the massive regulatory bureaucracy that the parasites in DC have actually established themselves.
True.
And in easy money, and you have all the ingredients now for a stagflationary economic environment. And a once exceptional policy could now be on the verge of economic stagnation and even economic collapse if the political class continues pushing these big government policies. And that's what happens when you have a country that engages in multiples decades of economic malpractice. And even the most prosperous societies can fall victim to the predictable cycle of economic decline. And our very own George Gammon has long warned about the United States government economic behavior. In fact, in the latest episode of his YouTube channel, George demonstrates how many years of economic malfeasance are likely going to cause a massive economic crisis. And this is just one thing that I wanted to share with you. It's happening.
So true.
It's happening right in front of our eyes. I could just go on and on and on, but I'll save it for tomorrow because I know
Americans have no concept of what it could mean if the government defaults on its debt, which it's going to at some point, and we have over 100 trillion in unfunded liabilities that nobody knows where that money's coming from, and they, like you said, they prolonged it very long time because of the status of the United States currency, but the window is closing more and more every day, and the dollar is turning out like every other fiat currency. It's going to turn out to be worthless. It's already lost 97% of its value since 1913. 1913. So it lost 70% of its value. Yeah.
More than that, Andy.
Okay,
97%.
Yeah, 97. That's what I said. There's 3% of value left in the dollar from what it originally was. And we're getting down to smaller and smaller amounts, where at some point people will say, look, this isn't worth anything. This is just paper, like you've seen in Germany when they had their hyperinflation, when the money was carted around in barrels, right? It was worth nothing. Venezuela, money was worth nothing. People were still using silver, though, and they were buying their household goods and services with silver. Silver is being used. You can get gas for your car. You can get food, real things, commodities that people use. That's what it comes down to, things that people use. Here we are. We're using lights. We're using electricity. Where's the electricity going to come from? Shutting down all the power plants and all. They're jacking up. Look at the price of gas and electricity in the last year under Biden. It's insane.
Listen to this. So Blinken warns China against providing aid to Russia and says that the balloon surveillance must never, ever occur again. Well, guess what's right over Hawaii right now?
Another one?
Another balloon.
A spy balloon?
Well, I don't know yet. It's breaking news. 45 feet average of it.
The other one was like a little cheap balloon. They shot it down.
Well, this is a large white balloon that's been spotted near Hawaii. And a number, let's see here, it says the drive reported a large white balloon was spotted by commercial pilots about 600 miles east of Hawaiian Islands on Monday. The Federal Aviation has notified the pilots in the area about the. Here we go. It's about 40,000, 50,000 feet. This isn't going to stop. This isn't going to stop. You know, we'll talk more about it tomorrow. I'm going to let you go. It's a busy day today here on President's Day. Just remember,